got to test myself. I got to see if I'm still the biggest dog in the yard. And tonight, we got our answer. A man of few words, but a lot of work when you go through his resume.
What's up, Worldwide Web? E-Daddy, your main guy, and this is WrestleMania Night 2 reaction time. And I'm going to hang on. I'm going to say it now. Whoever in the hell booked Night 2 needs to be the one strictly in charge of booking their shows, PLEs, and all that stuff all together from here on out. No more of this crap of like what we saw last night. Because last night was the shits. Today was excellent. And like I said, whoever was in charge of either that or WWE actually listened to the fans that was complaining about how everything went last night. And got it together. Unlike last night, I didn't got too much to complain about. I mean, they went through and, I'd seen it come out, start the show. They go straight into Oba and Brock. Oba comes out there to a massive pop. Brock comes out with halfway decent pop for Lesnar. I mean, I don't know, maybe just the fans weren't feeling him. I don't know. They're so behind Oba Femi. But came out there with Heyman. They went through, I mean, tie-ups. Neither one was budging the other one. Brock finally got Oba picked up, slamming him in that corner, went for those shoulder blocks, and Oba just kind of like shook it off. He went for Suplex City. Didn't phase the man. Hell, he went for the F5. Oba pops out, or pops right back up, basically. Choke slam. That was it called fall from grace, power bomb for the 3 count. I don't want to say squash, but it was honestly something that's needed, to help elevate Oba's truly the next big thing. And it delivered. It showed Oba being, he's this big jacked up guy. Without a doubt. But he's got the speed. He's got a lot of talent to him. And, I mean, he handled Lesnar no problem. Good first match to start the show. However, right then we got, I don't know if it's official or if it's just maybe him saying goodbye to the fans, since it's probably from him to hear his last WrestleMania. Brock took off his boots, his gloves, left him in the ring. Heyman was very upset about the whole situation. You could tell, like, maybe this wasn't something that Heyman knew Brock was going to do. If he did know, he did a fantastic job on selling the whole ordeal. But yeah, definitely, crowd was going through and giving a big thank you, Brock, thank you, Lesnar. He was acknowledging the fans and everything, waving them goodbye, even high-fiving some of the fans at ringside. Now, I'm not going to lie, part of me, I mean, I'm going to stop kind of seeing Lesnar gone, but part of me also was expecting Gunther to come out there, do something stupid, and hit Brock and everything, maybe like knock him out or something like that to go through and start setting up a possible match at SummerSlam. But maybe Brock said, not even going to do that. This is going to be my swan song. I don't know. We're going to have to keep atop of that one. But definitely a good opener for night number 2. 10 times better than we got from night number 1 with the 6-man tag match. So, and we get our first commercial break of the night. It was about 4 minutes commercials right then. Come back from commercial. You've already got Rusev, JD McDonough, and Dragon Lee already in the ring. Now, out comes Rey Mysterio to pretty good pop with a Deadpool gear. I guess maybe with this whole business with ESPN and all that, and Disney, that now Rey can get away with the superhero gimmick stuff. I know he stepped away from it at Mania for a while. Then Javon Evans came out, decent pop. Penta came out next, a really good pop too. Also dressed up like Shao Kahn. It was honestly, that match right there, it was like a roller coaster of great action everywhere around the ring, in the ring, everything like that. We see Penta go through and launch Rey up at one point onto Rusev and through a ladder. I don't see how in the hell Rusev got back up after that. I really don't, because I've seen that ladder shot done before, but you can tell this time it actually looked like a metal ladder with the way it bent. You didn't see that wood breaking from the wooden ladders they'll paint to make look like metal ones. JD hitting a beautiful Spanish fly off the ladder with Dragon Lee. Penta hitting the Mexican Destroyer on JD onto a ladder. Evans hitting that OG cutter on Rusev, who was on a ladder, and he was off the apron. Nice shot. And Penta, of course, hitting that Mexican Destroyer on Evans. He climbed up, retained the Intercontinental title. Great showing for Penta. Great showing, actually, for everybody. I think most everybody. I think that they probably could have done without. And nothing against Rey Mysterio. I love Rey Mysterio. Always have since, he came into the business. But he wasn't much of a factor. It's more of a showcase for JD, Penta, Dragon, Javon, and even Rusev, somewhat so. So at this point, they tell everybody goodbye that was watching on ESPN. So everybody's like, hey, you want to watch the rest of this? Go over to the Unlimited app. So from there, we get Sammy and Trick for the U.S. title. And I'm not surprised the amount of boos that I heard for Sami Zayn. I really wasn't. Because Sammy didn't deserve to be in this match. Did he deserve a match at Mania? Yeah. Did he deserve a match against Trick? Yeah, but I don't know if it was Mania worthy. But the U.S. title, that should have stayed around Carmelo Hayes. I don't know if Hayes didn't want to do the whole thing of Carmelo dropping it to Sammy or Carmelo dropping it to Trick at Mania. So, Sammy definitely played it up with the boos and everything. I'll put this, because Trick came out to a great pop, even with little Yachty, who I don't have no clue who in the hell that is. Great back and forth. But every move Sammy was hitting on Trick was getting rained on with boos. And so he actually kind of started doing the whole kind of heelish moves and stuff, including beating up Yachty. But like I said, great back and forth. Trick finally hits that trick shot to win the title. Like I said, really good match for both. Which, I mean, Sammy's been pulling a lot of good matches in the last 6 months. I never understood why they took the U.S. title off of him for it to go over to Ilya Dragunov, and then it went from him to Carmelo. I think Sammy and Carmelo could have had a good string of matches for the U.S. title, but they didn't go that route. I don't know why. But honestly, I mean, it's good. And it's good to see him, do something with Trick. Trick's definitely going to be a better version, I think, of what Booker T should have been if WWE had done it Booker right. From there, of course, we get another commercial break. And if I'm speeding through a lot of this, because most of these were short, until main event, of course. But when we get the Dirty Dom Demon street fight, Dom comes out with a bunch of wrestlers with masks and all that on, carrying him on a throne. Looked like something straight out of they maybe could have done at a AAA big show. Demon comes out to a decent pop. And I say decent because I think it would have been better if they just booked this as being, okay, it's going to be Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, street fight, and then let Finn do the whole thing of surprising everybody with the Demon. I think that would have worked so much better and garnered a bigger pop out of the crowd. Great back and forth and everything. Between two of them, without a doubt. And Balor finally getting the win. Whenever he pulled off that coup de grace through the table on the Dirty Dom. I know Dom's got a lot of, it's a good way for Dom to be moving on to other things and concentrating more on the whole AAA Mega Championship. And Finn going ahead and moving on to something new. And, fully being done with this whole Judgment Day thing. Because honestly, to me, Finn and JD don't elicit too much from me about this. And I see Oba on the thing back here, and Oba's got a great thing going now. Now he's done with Brock. After that, we do get the Rhea Jade match. Both of them came out to rather loud pops. Jade's being the boos, Rhea's being the cheers, of course, but really loud up for both of them. Jade did show a lot of dominance early before coming back. A lot of back and forth. The only thing that wasn't needed was towards the end with Michin and B-Fab coming out to help distract and Rhea on Jade Cargill's behalf. And then EO coming out to deal with those two. Great win for Rhea to hit the Riptide. Great match. Like I said, the extras not really needed for that. And honestly, I think this will be beneficial to Jade Cargill as she progresses in her WWE career. I go back to the COVID Mania. Rhea powerhouse faces off Charlotte. Charlotte got that win, but it did a tremendous thing for Rhea in the long run, where she's had these fantastic matches, been getting over better with the crowd, building herself up. It was great to see it. So then after that, we get, promo for the Backlash coming up in 3 weeks. More commercial time. Then we get John Cena coming out there again to announce tonight's crowd total, which they said 55,255. I don't know if other shows like Busted Open, says anything about this tomorrow or in the coming weeks or so. And I will say the crowd definitely looked more full than last night. But once again, that's a lot of tickets being sold in like 3-4 days. So I don't know. But anyways, he comes out and then Miz and Kit Wilson come out there. Miz wanting his moment. And then Danhausen comes out with a bunch of midget Danhausens. And if that's not politically correct, I apologize. But however, that's apparently, according to Michael Cole, what they wanted to be called. Decent pops for that. Of course, he gives Cena the, his flowers. Kit goes through, shoves a midget. Another midget nut shots him and then dogpile him. Danhausen also hits Miz in the nuts. Goes for a 3-knuckle shufflehausen. Shoves Miz off the apron, and the short people go through and basically carry Miz off. Danhausen goes through and does it. You can't see me trying to leave. Throws a smoke bomb down. Well, it goes around way pretty quick. Danhausen didn't have a chance to get out of there, so got a lot of laughter out of John Cena in the crowd and everything. A really funny moment as he went through running, got underneath the ring. Nice little, I guess you say, like little break in and everything after what's been a really decent night of action. So we start getting the. Of course, Cena goes through and says it's time for the main event. WWE. I know no one there's ever going to see this video, but if you guys want to use John Cena for anything like some of these big events like SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Rumble, or Survivor Series, bring him out as the ring announcer. He does a great job. Time for the main event. It was great. I think it was a good way for John to be, still helping out the business. Roman comes out for the world title match. Grand entrance for him. Punk comes out with a nice little entrance video, showing the city of Vegas, him sitting on top, and then a montage of him through the years. And he comes out with a nice jacket honoring, some of the WWE production crew that sadly has passed away and didn't make it to Mania, along with a little patch for his dog Larry and a big crown on the back of his jacket honoring Harley Race. Very tense stare down. They try to tie it up. Things kind of go kind of sloppy. Punk's over berating Roman. A lot back and forth and everything. Roman did take control there for a while. For a lot of GTS, a lot of outside action. We got some color out of this. I was sitting there trying to take notes tonight. A lot of back and forth, near counts and everything. Punk going for a table shot once, an elbow drop, but Punk or Reigns moved before Punk could even launch off the rope. a lot of stuff going on outside that should not have happened. I'm getting the cue to wrap it up very quick. I don't know if I can pause this. Anyways, great night without a doubt. Give me about 5 minutes. I count for. Did get to a point where they both looked super gassed, but they kept going, kept delivering. Like I said, great overall. Reigns finally hits the spear, gets the 3 count to win. Like I said, honestly, this was a lot better show tonight than night 1 was from top to bottom. They need to pay attention to this, because I know I wasn't the only one saying anything. So was a lot of people online. I heard some through some of the sports talk stuff this morning too about the whole situation. So hopefully they do a better job from here on out. Because honestly, I mean, it's like night 1. If TKO's got their fingers into this, TKO looked like they had controlled things on night 1, but WWE, Hunter, and them took control of night number 2. Everything they need to figure out is like, okay, these shorter matches ain't working with all these on commercial breaks and stuff like that. And I get with them being on ESPN. However, there's got to be a way, especially with them being on the Unlimited app, to where we can eliminate so many damn commercials and give the fans longer matches. It's bad when the longest 2 are, honestly, I think one of the women's matches from last night and the Punk Reigns contest here at the end tonight. We need more action like that. But like I said, definitely a lot better. Whoever booked night 2, whoever took care of production, and it's like, all right, guys, we're going to need to do this is what should have been done with night number 1. And hopefully from here on out, they keep to that and don't let the horror that we call night 1 happen again. But anyway, since I'm honestly being called out for saying, hey, it's about that time, I'm going to wrap it up because it's been a long weekend. A lot of wrestling to have watched. Definitely this night 2 was great to see and everything. Can't wait to see how everything transpires tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. So with that being said, everybody watches this one or watches this, thanks for watching. And if anything, I'll catch you all on the flip side. Deuces. I'm out.